actually sampling is after we decide about our research design, decide about how we are going to collect the data. So we need to do the sampling. So what's sampling? Sampling is a process of selecting a sufficient number of elements from the population. Population means is the whole elements. Yes. So we need to select sufficient number. See, try to focus on the word sufficient. Sufficient means enough, good enough to reflect the reality in the population. It should be good enough to reflect the reality of elements from the population, so that results from analyzing the sample are generalizable to the population. Because this is what we need in research. We need, after we get the results and analyze the results, we need to draw some conclusions. Okay? So this conclusion can be generalized if the sample is taken carefully. So we need to take the sample that represents the whole set of population. So after that, when we are analyzing the sample or analyzing the result should be generalized or generalizable to the population. So we can say this sample represents the whole population. Okay? The reasons for using a sample are self-evident. The research involving hundreds or even thousands of elements. It would be practically impossible to collect data from every element. So as we said, it is impossible in terms of time. If we have hundreds or thousands of elements, for example, the students of the university may be some thousands. So it's impossible to collect the data from every element. Therefore, we need to do sampling. Even if it were possible, it would be prohibited in terms of time. We have constraints in terms of time and cost and other human resources. So it's impossible or prohibited. Okay? You have any question in this definition?
Sufficient way. Why not? Can we use law or technique solution is sufficient?
I mean, sampling is how we can do that it is sufficient samples or?
Actually, there are some standards, we will see after this, that gives initial hints for you to select the number of elements in each sample. And it differs from subject to different, from subject to subject. And also through reading the literature. So we can gauge how people select how many elements so they mention and they give justifications. So you need to justify why this specific number. But here we are just talking in general. After that, you will see a table that gives some criteria. On the number of elements in each sample. Okay, we have some terms, relevant terms we need to understand before going in the sampling. So these terms should be understood. Population refers to the entire group. What do we mean by population? Population means the whole set of elements. Refers to the entire group of, for example, people, events, things, interest that the researcher wishes to investigate. When we investigate any topic, so we are going to study the population of this topic. Depends on our topic. Every one of you maybe has his own respondents or population, okay, that should be investigated. So this is what we mean by population. An element is a single member of population, so it's one unit. Sample, single member. Okay? A sample is a subset of population. So if we have this population, this is our population. The sample could be subset. This is our sample. So maybe we have some so an element is a single member of the population. So this one is element. This one, the whole set is a sample. Sample is a subset of the population. It comprises some members selected from it. We just select some members from the whole population. So we can call it a sample. Sampling unit, the element or set of elements that is available for selection in some stage of the sampling process. This is the sampling unit. How many elements? The element or set of elements that can be selected in some stage of the sampling process. Also, we have the term subject. Subject is a single member of the sample. So this member inside the sample is called subject. So subject is a single member of the sample, just as an element is a single member of population.
Sampling unit is subject.
No. Sampling unit could be one or group. Set. It can be one element or set of elements that's available for selection in some stage of sampling process.
So the sample itself we call it as a unit.
Yes. So this is the subject, it's an element in the subject, in the sample. But the element is an element in the whole population.
What is the attribute of subject?
Hmm?
Attribute of subject.
It's just an element, but it is selected in the sample.
But where is the subject name?
Huh? Sorry?
Why is the name of subject?
They just call it subject.
The same
This is
element?
a term, it's just a term.
The same element?
No, element. Okay, this one also could be element. Element is any member of the population. It could be this. Also, this one could be is an element. Also, it's called an element. But since it's selected in the sample, so now it's called subject. Okay. Just a term. They call it subject. Okay. Here we have some characteristics. The characteristics of the population is whole population, such as mu called mean, population mean. Of course, you heard about it. There are statistics, even in the undergraduate or in the postgraduate, if you study statistics. So mu is mean. Population mean. And sigma called population standard deviation. And sigma square, this is square. Is the population variance are referred to its parameters. So these are the parameters of population. Parameters or characteristics. If we have population, we need to calculate some statistical characteristics, which are mu and sigma square. These are called parameters. Actually, the calculation of these values or these statistical values is very easy now. You can do it in Excel, you can do it in MATLAB if you are using MATLAB. Just function and it gives you the value directly.
You mean calculator itself?
I don't know about the modern calculators.
Calculator, there is some, yes.
But calculator, if you have just a sum of set of elements, but if you have a data set,
Yes.
yes, data set, for example, in my case, when I was doing my PhD, my data set, the whole data set, maybe in terms of lines, more than 1 million lines. So you need high performance computing to calculate these things. And after that, okay, I calculated all these characteristics, statistical characteristics to get these parameters. And these parameters after that were used for some other things. But for my experiments itself, I supposed to choose just a set of this data set because it's very huge and it's not practical. So you just need to take some samples. How to take the samples? There are so many ways, but the most straightforward way to select your sample is to see the literature, how people are selecting their samples. And you will be lucky if you can contact some researchers who are doing research in the same topic, same area, and they published some good papers on these data sets, so you can ask them to give you the samples that they have used, because it will be easy after that to compare with them, to compare your result, to compare the result of your model with their results. So when you choose any topic, try to make sure that you understand what will be the data that will be used and how are you going to process it. Put these things in front of you when you select a topic. Don't select a topic that you don't know after that how you are going to evaluate. Okay? At least you know some hints about it. And these things, you cannot get it unless you read the whole paper. Not just read, quick reading, just reading the abstract and these things. Try to get into it and understand how this paper discusses the result and how to analyze it. Also, we have some statistical terms like central tendencies, dispersions, and other statistics in the sample of interest to the researcher are treated as approximations of the central tendencies, dispersion, and other parameters of the population. It means many things can be approximated from these values. So these parameters are very important to be calculated. Okay? You mean what? Do you know what we mean by central tendency? Yes. Yeah, sometimes we call it average, mean, median. It depends on the data. It depends on the kind of data. If you remember the last lecture when we were using the scales, some scales involve using the mean, but other scales involve using median, not mean. So it depends on the data. So this mean or median, this is what we mean by central tendency. In Arabic we call it الوسط. See it? متوسط. Yes. متوسط الوسط الوسيط. They call it like this in Arabic. And dispersion. Dispersion we call it in Arabic تشتت.
Variance and standard deviation.
How the characteristics of data spread.
Yes,
it's not in central. So These things like mean, standard deviation, variance, central tendencies, dispersions, all these statistical characteristics are very important to be understood, to be calculated from your data, because you will need them after that to approximate something else. Okay? This is where we are here, sampling design. This is the whole research design or research process. We are here in the sampling design, which depends on either probability or non-probability. And we need to take care also about the sample size. What should be the size of the sample, as your friend asked before. So sampling basically depends on statistics and probability. If you don't have sufficient knowledge about statistics and probability, you need to understand. Actually, there are a lot of statistical utilities or programs or applications that can do everything for you. But if you don't understand it, you are not going to understand how to analyze it. This is a problem. Or maybe you can give it to anybody who is a statistician, so if he can help you to do the data processing, but he cannot understand.
Interpretation part.
Yes, the interpretation of the result. Only you can understand the interpretation. And you will understand it very well if you understand the statistics and probability. Okay? So it's very important. Try to recall and revise your theories and all things related to statistics and probability. So what are the advantages of sampling? جامعة سعودية وشي تعمل محاضرة شخصية في القاهرة. So what are the advantages of sampling? Why we need to do sampling? As we discussed before, we need to reduce the cost. Okay? Why? Because when we print, for example, the questionnaire for 1,000 persons, or we print it just for 100 persons, so the cost is very different. Less errors due to less fatigue. Also, when your work involves dealing with too many respondents, of course, you will get so many errors. But if you reduce the set of, the sampling size, so you can control it. You can go by yourself. You don't need to make other people. Yes. And less time also. If you are restricted in terms of time, like you have 6 months, 7 months for doing your research, so it's difficult to make your sample to take the whole population. So you need to reduce the time. You need to take the time to take care of time. Destruction of elements, avoid it. Sometimes